I've always been interested in flying airplanes.
I continue to live out my dream every day, and I hope that I inspire the next generation of pilots like they inspired me.
It's definitely rewarding to be where I am, but I'm such a driven person. I'm not where I want to be yet, so I still feel like, there's more that I need to do.
And I was probably at about the 8th grade when we were driving somewhere from New York, and I looked up in the sky and I saw a small single engine. I think it was a Cirrus. And I looked up at the plane and I was like, Mom, I think I want to fly planes for a living, yeah. I started flight training when I was 15, and I was working towards my private pilot's license. And at 16 is the first time that I soloed. Second semester of my first year at school, I got my instrument rating. And my first semester, second year, I got my commercial pilot's license.
Hello, my name is Dominique Leonard Curry, and I'm a first officer for a regional airline. I'm from Jeffersonville, Indiana, right across the bridge from Louisville, Kentucky. The Shawnee OBAP Aviation program has been instrumental in my career in that it allowed me to start flying at 16 years old. Through that vocational program, my senior year of high school, I was able to learn how to fly an airplane and attend private pilot ground classes. From there, I went on to continue my studies and continue my ratings at Purdue University, where I obtained my undergraduate and graduate degree. From there, I began flight instructing, where I taught other students how to fly while gaining the necessary hours needed to become an airline pilot.
All my life, I wanted to be a pilot. I started the summer after my 8th grade year is how I got into aviation and got some connections through the OBAP program. We ran into Ray Robinson. We eventually got into the conversation of me wanting to become an airline pilot, and with him being a UPS pilot and a part of OBAP, he had just informed me that OBAP was an option to get started and that I would be able to do things that other students and kids really don't get to do on a daily basis. I was able to do things like go into the UPS simulators and go into the Louisville International Control Tower. And during that week, I also was able to do my first Young Eagles flight. And from that moment on, I was like, yeah, I'm hooked. I'm hooked.
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I graduated from Manual High School, and I've also graduated from Eastern Kentucky, where I'm a certified flight instructor right now. I have hopes of becoming an airline pilot soon. All of that thanks to OBAP and what they've done for me. I would have to say that OBAP is the reason that I'm a pilot now. Just the experiences that I was able to have and the knowledge that I was able to gain from the camps is what has led me to the position that I am now.
The first time I soloed, it's kind of interesting to think about now because it's been such a long time and I've flown a lot of times solo since. But you get up in the air and you realize like, oh, you can actually do this. You know that you've done something that not a lot of people have done.
Currently employed by UPS Airlines as a first officer on the Boeing 757 and 767 type aircraft. And I'm based right here in Louisville, Kentucky. My journey with the Louisville Ace Camp started when I was just 13 years old. And over the years, I think my biggest takeaway from the camp would have to be the exposure it provided. Really nowhere else at such a young age could you go and have access and be mentored by real airline pilots that look like you, talk with dispatchers, air traffic controllers, mechanics, not to mention fly a real airplane.
It was tough initially because growing up with 5 other siblings and my mom being a single mother, she wasn't able to provide the funds for the program. So Ray ended up paying for me to be a part of the program. I got my private license in my senior year. From there, I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University out in Arizona, Prescott, Arizona. I finished the rest of my ratings there. So I went from having my private in high school, I finished my instrument rating, commercial rating, and commercial single, commercial multi by my senior year in Embry-Riddle. After I graduated Embry-Riddle, I lucked up and got a skydiving job flying Twin Otters, flying skydivers all day, every day. That's how I was able to build my time. The airlines require you to have 1,500 hours to get your ATP. And currently, I'm at Piedmont Airlines. We fly all over the East Coast in Canada.
I went to Louisville Male High School, graduated in 2002. And then from there, I went to the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, and graduated in 2007. After that, I flew in the Navy for about 11 years active duty as a pilot. And then I got out and got hired here with UPS flying just about 3 years ago.
My name is Jordan Barnes. I was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. I went to Mel High School and then to St. Louis University. I currently am in the Air Force Reserve here in Charleston, South Carolina, where I fly the C-17. I've been doing this since 2015. And then last year I got hired by UPS. I fly the 747 for them. And I went to the ACE camp at Shawnee back in middle school. And that's where I met all the great mentors of that group. And that's where I got my interest in aviation. And I stayed in contact with those gentlemen throughout my years. And their mentorship and guidance really helped me in my civilian and military career.
I did the ACE camp as a middle schooler first, and then in high school also. I thought it was a great opportunity to see some things up close that I and a lot of the other students there thought were extremely interesting, and to hear that from people that were extremely professional and interesting and also just lived in the community that I may have never really run across otherwise, and maybe never would have had the opportunity to see those things and set some of the goals that I and a lot of those other students set after having that exposure.
I'd love to see more diversity in the aviation industry. I think my school, we have a very small Black pilot population, and hopefully to see it grow soon. So if you really want to get involved, I would say a good way to start is the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals. It's an organization that specializes in bringing awareness to minority communities. I actually recently got approval from the OBAP organization to start a Kansas State University chapter, and I'm the president of that chapter.
Hi, my name is Jordan Dorsey. I'm 30 years old and I currently live in Louisville, Kentucky. I went to Trinity High School, and afterwards I went to Eastern Kentucky University, or EKU, where I got my 4-year bachelor's degree in aviation. After EKU, I moved down to South Florida just for a little over 3 years, where I was a flight instructor, just trying to build flight hours. Ended up getting hired on with SkyWest Airlines as a first officer on the Embraer 175, later upgraded to captain on that same aircraft. Spent about 5 years at SkyWest, and later on was fortunate enough to get hired on with UPS Airlines, my dream job, as a first officer on the Boeing 757 and 767.
All in all, my goal one day is to be able to give back to, not only just brown and Black kids, but everybody that I can possibly influence and potentially help financially get to where they want to be, especially in the aviation industry.
And I hope that anyone out there that has a childhood dream that seems really tough, please reach out to me or anyone else. There's people out there who are willing to help.
I still have to pinch myself when I'm in the cockpit just to come to the realization that I am where I want it to be, Every day I go to work and it doesn't feel like work, and that's what I wanted.
Being a part of this program has been instrumental. It's been great. It's been a blessing. And I'm forever grateful for all the people involved with the Shawnee OBAP Aviation program.
The journey's not done though. It's very satisfying to be where I'm at right now, but I still have there's more things to do for me, I think, and so I'm looking forward to it.
In spite of the ache, I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again for you.